Hey, everybody, it's Kelly Anderson, the Feeling Good Mama. Hope everyone is having a great Tuesday today. So, I wanted to come on and be with you guys, spend a little bit of time today talking about one of my favorite topics, actually. It's a topic that has interested me in a long time, but it's also a topic that has like scared me to death in a lot of ways my entire life, and that is confidence. Confidence. It's something that we all want. I guess, I would say, I guess some people are born with more of it than others. I certainly know people in my life who just seem to just be naturally confident. And I'm happy for them, good for them. That's wonderful. And then there are others like me who have to work harder at confidence. And for me, confidence has kind of been a lifelong journey. A little bit about my background. So, I was born as a kid, I was very quiet and shy and extremely artistic. And I was just very timid in all sorts of social situations. I still had a lot of friends, but when it came to like groups of people and all, I just did not feel comfortable at all. And asserting myself was always difficult. I had a hard time speaking up for myself, especially. And I- it really I went down a road with that where in my teenage years and even into my early 20s, I had a lot of depression issues because I did not feel confident in myself. And I think a lot of mine came from wanting to please other people around me. I felt like maybe if I please other people around me, then, they'll like me, of course. But then that's a double-edged sword because you're never listening to yourself and what you need inside. You're always just looking to other people. What do you need from me? What do you want from me? And it's really a very unhealthy way of being. So, finally, I started to realize this is not working for me. This tactic of trying to please everyone around me and be, who everyone else around me wanted me to be, I totally did not know who I wanted to be and what was good for me in my heart and my soul. So I started on this journey, and in all honesty, a lot of it took losing my husband in 2016 and being left with my daughter, who was 5. And I knew, wow, like I have got to get a handle on this confidence thing because in order to raise a kid on my own, I'm going to have to really have my big girl panties on. I'm going to have to be able to make a lot of decisions on my own. I'm going to be, guiding her and raising her. I need to figure this confidence thing out. So, as in everything, it's always a work in progress. Nothing is ever fully completed, nothing's ever done. And that is how my journey in confidence has been. It still continues to this day. Um, but I will say that I have come a huge, like when I look at that little girl when I was little, and even in her teens and in her 20s, when I look at that girl, I'm like, I don't even know who you are. And my heart just so goes out to her because I was like, I'm like, wow, she hurt so much. She went through so much pain and anguish. And I feel so badly for that, but on the other hand, I'm so grateful because I don't think I would be here now if I hadn't been that person before. And so I had to kind of go through the fire to get here, and where I'm not like 100%, I'm not where I want to be. I'm definitely on that trajectory, and that feels good. So I wanted to just come on and talk to you guys. If you guys ever struggle in the area of confidence, first off, I want to let you know you're not alone. I don't know the stats, but I would say that the vast majority of people out there, especially today in this era that we're living in, are having a lot of confidence issues. There are so many things coming at us from so many directions that it it's hard to stay centered in ourselves. We feel like we have to be a certain way for our family. We have to be a certain way for our work. We have to be a certain way, to fit in to society, and that's a lot of pressure. And then you add COVID, you add, just crazy disruptions going on all over the world where you always feel kind of like when's the next shoe going to drop, what's the next thing that's going to happen. We're always kind of still living in survival mode, and so it's hard to feel confident and feel really good about yourself when you've got all of these things coming at you. And then of course you add social media onto that and all the crazy just bombardment of messages and images coming from social media. We humans have a lot that is, that we're having to focus on and deal with these days. So, first off, I want to tell you you're not alone if you're having issues in feeling good about yourself. And two, there are good reasons for that, for you to feel not be feeling optimal. And three, start to learn to go a little easier on yourself. You've got to learn to be gentle with yourself, not beat yourself up, not be bad talking yourself. And fourth, I've got some tips that I'm hoping will kind of help you guys and kind of give you some things to think about and focus on that will hopefully start to set you in a good direction if you have areas in confidence that you would like to improve. So, first off, I want to talk about you. First off, I want you to look at you, and I want you to first think about who are you right now? Not the past you, but who are you right now? And I want you to look at yourself, and I want you to write down all the good things. And then I want you to write down all the not so good things, the things that you don't like. And then I want you to take some time and sit down, and I want you to think of what would it look like if you could be that person that you would like to be? What would it look like if you could be the more confident version of yourself? And sit down and take some time and write down what are the attributes of this person. And then I want you to look at the list that you just wrote of where you are now, and then look at the list for how this person would be if you were, um, sometimes we say goal achieved or optimal, or just the better version of you. And I want you to look at those and look at what are the differences here, and what's it going to take on this side to get over here. just a little bit better. And you might look at where you are now and you might feel like, oh my gosh, where I want to be is like so far off. So I want you to look at this and then start to take that down a little bit, bring it a little bit closer, and start to look at what are some of the steps that I could start to take, not even to get all the way up here, maybe to get a quarter of the way or halfway or a third of the way, but just a little bit closer to this up here. And so I'm going to give you some things that I want you to think about in that journey to get from here to up here. And the first thing that is a very easy thing. So I don't know, for you guys who don't know me very well, I am a personal trainer and a Pilates instructor. I have been teaching exercise and Pilates for almost 18 years. So I have a pretty good idea about posture. And one thing about posture is it can make huge gains in the way you feel immediately. If we are hunched over and we have our shoulders falling forward, a lot of what is happening there is your ribs are contracted and you're not able to breathe as fully as as optimally as you should be able to. And so basically, you can have somewhat of a lack of oxygen. It's also this is the posture of someone who just might be a little bit down, might be a little bit depressed, might be kind of this is the posture of someone who is closing in on themselves and they're not wanting to be seen, they're not wanting to be expanded, they're wanting to hide. This is the posture of hiding. And so, one thing that I want you to think about is one thing right off the bat. And I want you to look at this person up here. Excuse me, I'm still getting over a little bit of congestion. I want you to think of this person up here. What kind of posture do they have? How do they carry themselves? How do they walk? How do they talk? And so that's something that you can start working on immediately. When you start to stand and sit taller, when you lift your gaze, when you pull your shoulders back, all of a sudden your ribs are expanding. You're able to take in more oxygen. You're able to see more. You have a bigger, expanded view of the world. And all of a sudden, I mean, do it right now. Go from this posture and then lift yourself up, pull your shoulders back, lift your chin up. I'm so sorry. I've got this little bit of congestion. Immediately, you feel more open, you feel more expanded, and you feel more powerful. So, right off the bat, that is a simple little trick that you can do to get from here to up here is start thinking about what kind of posture does this person have and start being in that posture as much as you possibly can and start to catch yourself, oh, you find yourself slumped over, you find yourself in a conversation where you're kind of cowering a little bit, pick yourself up, pull your shoulders back. Another thing that you can start to do is watch how you speak. When you are speaking to yourself, first of all, I want you to watch those messages of when you're like beating yourself down. When I mean, even like when you're doing the laundry and doing things around the house, and all of a sudden you're like going down the rabbit hole. Your brain is telling you, oh, why did you say it that way? Why didn't you remember to do this? I want you to catch yourself immediately and say, no, I'm not going to allow that speech within myself anymore. I'm not going to allow me to talk to me that way anymore. Make a decision today. This person up here does not talk that way to themselves. This person up here loves themselves and is compassionate and is always so loving. This person up here, when they make a mistake, they own it. They say, "Hey, I made a mistake. I'm so sorry," to whoever they need to apologize. But then they move on. They don't dwell on it. They don't beat themselves up. So think about how this person up here, how they talk to themselves. So we've got two things. We've got posture. We're going to sit tall, be open, and then we're going to watch how we talk to ourselves. Now we're going to also watch how we talk to others. And I want you to try to start being more direct. No is always okay. If you find that little voice, like someone asks you to do something, and you find that little voice in the back of your head, it's like, I really don't want to do this, but I'm so afraid of saying no. Just say no. Just say no and start to get in the habit of saying no and saying what you feel and saying more of what you want. People will respect you more when you are more direct. Now, always be nice about it, always be polite, but you have a right to voice your thoughts, your opinions, your needs, your desires. You have every right for that. So that's the next thing. So we've got posture, we've got the way we speak to ourselves, and then we've got the way we speak to others. Number 4 is work on smiling. Work on smiling more. We don't smile enough. We get so just honed in and serious on what's going on in life. We forget to smile. So I want to remind you guys, just stop in the middle of the day, catch yourself and just start smiling. My daughter will say a lot like, "Why are you just sitting there and smiling?" I'm smiling because it feels so much better than frowning. Does it not? So check yourself multiple times a day and just break out into a smile. Even start laughing if you have to. Start laughing if that makes you feel good and smiling. Everyone, every time you go out in public, you're in the grocery store, make eye contact with people and smile. Smiling is going to help make you feel more confident. And remember, this person up here, they smile, they're friendly, they're loving, they're happy. I hope. I hope that's what your person up here, I hope that's what they're doing. Okay, so we have posture. We have the way we speak to ourselves, the way we speak to others. We have smile. Let's see, what else? Um Next is really big and it's really hard, but you have to keep putting yourself out there. If there are things that really make you feel uncomfortable, situations, and I'm not talking about unhealthy situations, I'm talking about things that you want in life that you know I've got to do this to get to the next level, but I'm so scared and it makes me feel so uncomfortable. You've got to keep putting yourself out there. You've got to keep doing the uncomfortable things. And guess what? You put yourself out there, you carry yourself well, you speak well to yourself the whole time. go say you have anxiety being in groups of people. Start putting yourself in those situations. And when you're in those situations, you're watching what you're telling yourself. A lot of times when we're uncomfortable being in social situations, we've got this little voice saying, why am I here? Nobody's going to like me here. Nobody's going to be interested in what I have to say. And I want you to catch yourself immediately and say, I'm not going to allow that talk. I have every right to be here. I'm a great person. They're going to love me. I'm here to serve. I'm here to offer, what gifts I have to these other people, and I'm going to smile. And that's still the smiling thing is it's still kind of hard for me because I think I was just so serious as a kid. For most of my life, I was just so serious all the time. So smiling is kind of like sometimes it can feel a little goofy, but just smile. Just smile and be cheerful and then be direct when you're talking to people. Listen to people, and then when it's time for you to speak, be direct. Don't just be like, "Oh, well, I don't know." Start to be like, "I'm a decisive person. I know what I want. I know what I like, and I'm going for it, and I'm going to invite you guys along with me." So, let's see if there's anything else. The last thing I want to really impress upon you guys is to be gentle on yourself and forgive yourself. There, so many of the little things that we tell ourselves, they're just stories. And you might beat yourself up for something that happened 20 years ago. And you're like, oh, I can't do that because I messed up 20 years ago when I got on stage or whatever. And so start being easier on yourself. Don't beat yourself up for past failures. Um, times when you feel like, oh, I didn't do my best. Don't beat yourself up. Okay. I want you to really start working on loving yourself so much. You deserve it. You're worth it. And you're only going to get to a better, more confident place if you start to work on these things. So, I gave you a lot here. I hope that it's been helpful. Let me know in the comments if this has been helpful for you. And um, what's your takeaway? What things are you? Are there any of these things that you feel like, oh, this feels a little awkward to me, or I'm just not sure if I can do this? I want to hear. I love to hear these things and try to help you in any way that I can. So if you are on my Facebook groups right now, thank you so much for being here with me. I really, really appreciate you watching. It means the world to me. If you're on my YouTube, I so appreciate you being here. I would love for you to subscribe and like this video. And if you would like more, please let me know if you have any thoughts for future conversations. I'm here to serve you guys, and my goal is to lift you all up, to make you feel good about yourselves, to empower you to go out and do the same for others. Because if we all start lifting each other up, wow, what an amazing world this could be, right? So I want to leave you guys with Uh, we still have our book. My daughter and I have our book, Violet and the Voices. If you're interested in purchasing our children's book, age range is 6 to 12, but adults really seem to like the book as well. You can go to www.violetoleanderrose.com. I appreciate you guys on all my platforms so much. It really means a lot for you to take your time out of your busy day to listen to me. And I'm going to keep trying to help lift you guys up. So if you have any thoughts for what you would like, I would love to hear. So with that, thank you guys for listening, and I will see you on the flip side.